feel like it's been a while, but we're back.
It's been a little while. However, it's been a long while since we've talked about what we're going to talk about today.
Leah Williamson.
Yeah, I mean, that's the title of the video. Obviously, you see it's about that. But we really haven't talked about Leah or Arsenal at all. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. Video could either be very long or very short because it's kind of about this one quote from this one article we're going to read from. But there's a lot going on with not just Leah Williamson as a person necessarily. There's a lot going on in football for Leah Williamson.
Yeah.
And personally, first of all, we never talked about this, but England ended up winning the Arnold Cup. We never talked about it. I mean, it was a pretty secure win. I think most people would say. I mean, they're the front runners for the World Cup. England would be, I think. Mm-hmm. Also, the Arsenal, I guess I'm going a little forward again, but Arsenal just played over the weekend, and they're playing really well. They actually had a wild win against Manchester City over the weekend. Katie McCabe, she looked like she was injured last week at some point, but she scored a stunner.
Is that when she was throwing balls at people?
Yeah, I think that was the same game. Katie McCabe scored a stunning winner as Arsenal came behind to beat Manchester City and remain right at the heart of the Women's Super League title race. So it's a tight race up at the top. I think it's 4 teams.
And also, the comeback completed a memorable week for the Gunners after they overcame Bayern Munich to reach the Champions League semifinals.
So yeah, they're having a good run. They also won about a month ago at this point. Arsenal beat Chelsea to lift Women's League Cup. So a lot of exciting things for player Leah Williamson. Also, she just got called back to the roster for the international break that's happening. Also, it was her birthday about a week ago. She turned 26.
Wow.
And that's always exciting. And on Instagram, people all wished her happy birthday.
Birthdays are the best.
Yeah, birthdays are fun. Hopefully she had a good birthday, celebrating with friends, family, and, that's exciting. So she had that going on as well. Also, if you've seen Leah Williamson around, I mean, she's the face of women's sport in England. She's at so many award shows, so many, talk shows, award shows. I'll put some of the pictures of some places she's been.
Yeah, she's really representing, women's sports.
And also winning awards. She's not only at these award shows, she's winning awards, And so she's everywhere. And, I mean, it's what a representative they have to represent the sport because she's great. She's a household name in the UK, which is so cool to see. And she's everywhere. I mean, every single time I go on Instagram, it's her at a different event. And I think it's really fun. She looks spectacular. I mean...
Yes, outfits on point.
She was made for fashion. She wears the outfit
for her.
Yeah, she wears the outfit. The outfit doesn't wear her.
Ooh,
it's very true.
I like that.
And so she's been so many places. Also, so she has a book that I don't know if the book has officially come out or if it is coming out.
I saw her do the big reveal. She opened the book and it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the colors, the gold and red.
Okay, publishing the 30th of March. I see on her Instagram. So she announced it on February 7th, but publishing it on the 30th of March. So it just came out. And it says it is a book to find your strength and believe that you can. Kind of like an inspirational book, but she's using things from her life to show tips, tricks, how you can do it. Like she has done it,
Right.
So it doesn't sound quite like an autobiography, like how Beth Mead had the autobiography on other people, but it sounds just like a inspirational type of. I'm excited to announce that I am launching my first book. It's a positive guide full of stories from my life, tips and advice, and I hope it will inspire young people to be their true and best versions of themselves, believing they can achieve anything they put their minds to, which she's a great person representative for that because she's shown that she can do anything. So she has a lot going on. I mean, I don't think there's a player out there who has more going on than she does right now.
Yeah, very busy.
Very busy. And so I believe this was kind of part of the book, maybe part of the launch, that she's been doing interviews. And she did a great interview with The Guardian. This came out about a month ago at this point. When did this come out? March 25th. So this was published March 25th. but I believe the interview actually happened in November. Someone DM'd us and told us that. Also, it might be on the interview that it said that, but it happened a while ago, but it was just published recently. And in this article, I mean, it is a long article. I'll link it down below, but she talks about everything. And not only does she talks about a lot of things. And not only does she talk a lot of things that I kind of had heard, she talks about a lot of things I'd never heard from her. I have never really followed her story that closely, but I found out she did gymnastics for like 5, 6, 7 years. Ooh. She did them a lot, and she seemed pretty serious about it. I also found out that her family, I knew her family was sporty, but I didn't realize her mom was as accomplished as she was, and her grandmother was as accomplished as she was. Yeah, her grandmother played like professional badminton or like competitive badminton.
That's cool.
That is really cool. Then I also found out things like, I know she is getting her qualifications for being an accountant. I knew that. But then I also read that her dad is an accountant. So it makes sense. Your dad's an accountant, then you become an accountant. Makes sense.
Smart.
So I didn't realize her dad was an accountant. Also things like read that she was diagnosed with endometriosis that I was reading about. And that's very painful. I know Beth England has talked. Beth England had talked about she has very, very painful. And then I also read things like she has a bit of, she didn't necessarily call it social anxiety, but she has no problem being the captain of the Lionesses, but she doesn't like to do things like ring the hairdresser if she needs an appointment, or ring the doctor. She wishes her mom she would ring the doctor if she needed an appointment.
Okay, but those things are the worst. Having to call someone and do those things.
I know. She doesn't like talking on the phone. So, I mean, very relatable queen.
Yeah, sounds like me.
I know. So this article is great. I mean, it is very in-depth, and it obviously talks all about football, and it talks all about the Euros and kind of women in sport, and talks about everything. So it's a great article. And some actually the reason I even knew about it is because someone put it in our comment section. But then the interviewer kind of asks her, about her personal life. Not too much, but he says, what do you do on the when it's just, you're not thinking football, you're not thinking work, you're thinking relaxing time. And Sarah will read a little bit of what she said.
Her ideal night out is going to a gig with 72-year-old Bernie,
which is her grandma.
She won't thank me for telling you her age. The last thing we saw was Florence in the Machine.
So yeah, sounds like going out for music. She said she was a part-time DJ, but then it also talks about how important her family is to her.
She said she's had such a wonderful, loving experience of a family throughout her life, and one day would like to start her own.
Here's where Sarah starts to read the interview with Leah's accent. Sorry for the badness of it, or goodness.
Is that imminent? Definitely not imminent. I've got some work to do on the pitch. Has she got a partner? No, I don't. Is she looking for one or happily single? Not disclosing. Don't hold back, I say. You never know who might be reading this. Is this a new dating app? Okay, tell me, was that a good Leah Williamson accent or a bad one? Let me know in the comments. Thank you.
It sounded a little Australian at a time.
I was trying to channel her
Very
accent.
Very good. So, but she gives kind of the details there. The interviewer went for it. Are you single? She's talked a few times about she sounds like she wants kids. After the Euros, I remember her quote of saying, "This is the most," I forget the direct quote. This is probably even a bad paraphrase, but she said, "This is the most exciting thing that's ever going to happen to me until I have kids." She said that. So it has been, we have known that she wants kids. She wants family. But the interviewer right there asks her, are you single? How does she put this? She goes, because I'm going to say this one. She goes, have you got a partner? No, I don't. Is she looking for one or happily single? Not disclosing. So right there she says, have you got a partner? No, I don't. But then it's kind of confusing because she goes, is she looking for one or is she happily single? Because you would think if she doesn't have a partner, she's single. That's how you would put that. But then she goes, she's not disclosing. So this is what I do a lot of times when I do a video like this. I'll go to Twitter, I'll go to Tumblr, I'll go to wherever and see what people are thinking about that. I really haven't done that for this video to see what people actually are thinking. Are people thinking she's single? Because then she says not disclosing. Unless I'm reading that wrong. What do you think?
This is how I read it.
Okay.
This is how I interpreted it. That she doesn't really want to share if she's open to dating.
Or she's looking actively.
Or she's actively looking.
Okay. I got that too. I got that a little bit too. But yeah, so I mean, right there she says she is single and also not disclosing whether she's looking. And I think that more makes sense what you're saying, that she's just not disclosing whether she's looking. But it seems pretty...
She doesn't want everyone throwing themselves at her.
But then,
not all at once.
And people
Line
do.
up.
I mean, that's the one thing on Twitter, Tumblr, everywhere. I mean, people are in love with... I mean, obviously, she's gorgeous. And she's number one person in the sport. You know what I mean?
Very talented.
How can you not be attracted to someone who, A, is physically good looking, and B, so talented? I mean, that's the pairing right there. When you're physically good looking and you're really good at something,
It's just not fair.
It's not fair. But so does she? But it's interesting how she says that she doesn't have a partner. But you can I'm still saying you could still read that either way. You could either read it, she's not disclosing whether she has a partner, or like you're saying, which I kind of get, she's not disclosing that she's looking or not looking. Because, you know, I always see her, I think there was those rumblings. People thought maybe she, you know, her and Alex Scott had something. I never really got that, only because I know they're like best
big
mates.
Sister vibes.
Big
or
sister
friend vibes.
But I honestly, and this is the one thing I'm going to say that's going to be a little controversial, I don't think she minds if people think they're together. I don't think she minds whether, you know what I mean? Because obviously, why would you mind? But some people would be like, I don't want to look coupled up with anyone, you know.
I'd be honored to be linked with such a hottie.
I know. But I feel like because they're always at award shows together and they're really best mates, but I get the feeling like she doesn't care if people kind of think, hey, we're together, you know, because that's the way the fandom is. We're part of the fandom. That's what we you know, we think sometimes.
If you're in the spotlight, you kind of have to not care.
No, but that's what I think is different. I think, okay, this is another controversial part. I am one of those people that up until recently / now, I still think there's a slight possibility she could be with Jordan. And I know that is something not a lot of people agree with. I know. I just have this feeling it could be so deep where it's like a secret thing at this point again.
You're right. Weirdly, you're right about a lot of things.
Yeah, I still feel
like you were right about Ellen DeGeneres.
That she had bad vibes. But I really feel there could be a possibility. It is so deep that they're not talking about it ever again, that they could still be together. And I know a lot of people do not agree with that. And I think the majority of people at this point, especially after this article, say no, they're over, they're done, they're friends, they're best friends. Oh,
I'm just choosing to believe what Leah says
and
and go along with that, because I trust her.
And that's the thing. I never would want to say, well, she's saying this, so of course I'm not believing her. And Sarah's right. I believe what she's saying here, but I still
you're in La La Land.
I'm in La La Land. I have that little 2% feeling. You know, I've talked to a couple people on Instagram who kind of agree with me. So
La La Land is a fun place to be.
I know.
Better than reality, let's be honest.
But I
most
think
of the time.
Also, you know, you think about those people who, you know, Leah and Jordan have been mates for so long, it's like you really connect with people who knew you before the fame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe Leah wants to be with someone who just knew her before the fame, who liked her even before all the fame and all the accolades. You know, I don't know. So Sarah's right. I take Leah at her, what she's saying, that she's single. But that's going to be kind of the title of the video. Leah announces
singularity.
Yeah. Leah confirms being single. Because I think at this point,
ready to mingle? ?
Oh yeah, I like that. Because I think at this point they are so focused. Everyone is focused on the World Cup. Also club titles and trophies. Also Arsenal for the Champions League. Also, you know, what they can accomplish, you know, whether it be club or World Cup. Everyone is so focused right now on soccer. So whether or not they're together or not together, or whether or not Leah's looking, or whether or not people are chatting her up, it's like she's like, I can't really worry about that right now. You know, her focus right now is football, playing with Arsenal for the titles and trophies there, you know, Champions League and everything. Also, it's World Cup year. It comes around once every 4 years. She is the captain of England. So, you know, that's what she's worried about, or that's what she's focused on. It's going to be an exciting summer for a lot of people. But I mean, that's pretty much the interview. I will link it down below. But she talks about so much in the article. Also, she talks about wanting to wear an armband for the World Cup this summer for everyone. But she talks a lot. This article is really cool. So check it out. I'll link it down below. But what does everyone think? Questions, comments down below. We'll talk to everyone later. And look out. There is an international break for England for everyone coming up. So I'm not quite sure who England plays, but we'll definitely be checking out that match. So questions, comments down below. We'll talk to everyone later. Have a great night.
Bye.